and welcome. Tonight, federal government directs Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) to sell crude oil to Dangote refinery and other local refineries in Naira. The president signs the minimum wage bill into law, ending months of deliberations between government, labor and the private sector. And the Inspector General of Police invites Ebo Oluwadegboruwa, lawyer, to the Take It Back movement over the impending August protest.
On Business News tonight, we'll have the Nigerian Pipelines Maintenance Agency also weighing in on the situation with the oil sector.
On sports news tonight, Nigeria's D Tigress upset world number 3 Australia to record their first win in the women's Olympic basketball in 20 years.
From the nation's capital, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu asks political parties and their candidates for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections to adhere to the rules.
And in international news from London, President Nicolas Maduro claims he has won Venezuela's presidential election, according to partial results announced by the Electoral Council.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited (NNPCL) has been directed to, with immediate effect, commence the sale of crude oil to Dangote refinery and other local refineries in Naira. This directive, which was approved by the Federal Executive Council meeting, was disclosed by the Special Advisor to the President on Revenue, Mr. Zaccheaus Adedeji. We're bringing you details on that later. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has applauded the signing of the bill into law. Speaking at the signing ceremony at the State House, the President of the Senate and Majority Leader of the House hailed President Bola Tinubu, describing it as a great day for Nigerian workers. And that's the signing of the National Minimum Wage Bill into law.
This is minimum. This is not maximum. Any employer that has a capacity can pay as much as you want. But no Nigerian worker will offer services and be paid anything less than 70,000 from today. That is the implication of this act. It applies all over the nation. And we're excited that this is happening at a time like this through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man who cares for the Nigerian workers.
In addition to signing the Northeast Development Commission Act, the Northwest Development Commission Act, the Southeast Development Commission Act, this has never happened in Nigeria. So I think this movement from 30 to 70 and reducing the negotiation years is clear demonstration of a commitment to redirect, refocus, and reposition Nigeria for greatness. I think we commend.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, believes that there is no need for the planned nationwide protest, maintaining that most of the demands of the protesters are already being addressed. The minister stated this while addressing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Mr. Idris reveals that the council meeting deliberated on that protest and concluded that the issues are already addressed.
The position of the Federal Executive Council is that most of the demands that the protesters are making are actually being addressed by the federal government. And therefore, it is the view of government that there is really no need for the protest again. Indeed, the president is already protesting on their behalf by doing those things that they want a government to do. For example, the effort that government is making in ensuring that food is being made available. There is also rice that is being sold at about 50% of its cost. Centers have been created so that those who need this rice can go there and buy this rice at 40,000 naira. In the first instance, about 10 trucks are being made available to each of these states. Government has not pretended that these supplies are indeed enough, but these are necessary first steps that are being made.
Meanwhile, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has appealed to Nigerians not to be misled to join the planned protest, as the government is doing what it should for the country. Speaking in the State House, the federal lawmaker added that the situation on ground is not caused by this administration and that the president has risen to the occasion.
Are we good? So I want to use this opportunity to call on those who are attempting to foment trouble, that you have a right to protest. It's your fundamental right. It is there in the Constitution, but you don't have a right to destabilize the country. A right to protest should not be turned into a right to unleash violence. It's very clear that people who are already very amorphous, very faceless. So what it means is that people are preparing to loot and go around and do all sorts of things. Where we are today was not caused by 1 year's administration. It is the outcome of years of insecurity. Many people could not go to farms for almost 10 years and all that, and the president has risen to the occasion. I'm excited that, yes, indeed, the government is doing what it should. And we, the leaders in the National Assembly, we are touching our various constituencies. So my appeal to the Nigerian youth is do not allow any group to mislead you politically. People who probably did not have their fortunes in 2023 election are thinking they can come through the back door. That will amount to anarchy. Any destruction of any property will cost Nigeria money, and we don't have the money. Instead, let's put the money in developing you and developing your environment instead of going to rebuild.
A former governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Ogun State, Segun Showunmi, is asking the government of President Bola Tinubu not to stop the youths from staging a protest, as it is within their rights as citizens to do so. Mr. Showunmi explains that the government should rather engage in dialogue with them with a view to meeting some of their demands. He spoke on our political program, Politics Today.
The People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, the party that I proudly represent, is too responsible to join in this cacophony that creates the impression that, oh, young people don't have the constitutional right to protest. Yes, we recognize the right of people to protest. We respect the language and whatever it is that they are bringing to the table. We caution the federal government to be responsible, reasonable, and understand that one of the critical, legs of democracy is freedom of association, freedom of protest. And that, in fact, a test of their capacity to manage things will be how they handle this very serious situation that the country has found itself. I will not have anybody suggest that the PDP is responsible for it. We are not. We're not the ones calling people to protest. We're not the ones instigating anybody. We're not the ones fingering anybody. All we are saying to them is that, gentlemen in charge of the country today, the language to speak to young people when they are angry is a lot of begging, a lot of empathy, a lot of conciliatory conversation. You don't bully them. You manage the conversations by listening to what they're saying, coming up transparently to answer some of these queries. If they want a reduction in the price, do they not have a right to demand that? If they want, you meet them halfway. And if they say, no, they are faceless people that are engaging them, then exactly what are you planning for? So I think that, yes, the nation must be careful of fifth columnists. I hold that very sacrosanct, and also international conspirators who may want to destabilize our country. But then again, if they knew what they were doing in that villa, you would have to ask them, what do they think is the responsibility of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency?
The governor of Kano State, Uba Sani, has held a town hall meeting with critical stakeholders where he appealed to the residents of the state not to join the protest. The governor also appeals to residents to shun the protest, be patient with the government, including the federal and state governments, as they make efforts to stabilize the ailing economy and improve the security situation in the country.
Ahead of the planned nationwide protest, Governor Obasani of Kano State is engaging various groups and critical stakeholders in the state. The town hall had in attendance traditional rulers, religious leaders, members of the organized labor, market women associations and other stakeholders. Highlighting the negative consequences of the protest, the governor speaks on what the government is doing to address the economic situation in the country.
The president has demonstrated courage in carrying out his operation on the economy. We are making steady progress. We must support the president in his patriotic effort at revitalizing the economy and putting smiles back on the faces of Nigerians.
The Kano State Police Commissioner also raised the alarm over plans to hijack the protest.
I appeal that with the situation in the state, having gone through a lot of difficulties in the year 2000 as a result of peaceful protest, and there are a series of other examples made on this stage.
The stakeholders also make appeal for patience with the government while distancing themselves from the protest.
Dialogue, discussions, reaching out to people just the way, His Excellency organized this event, to talk to people, see the other side of the coin. Then you will appreciate what the government is trying to do.
This government should be given chance, should be given time, so that we see the effect of their measures they are taking to bring peace in the land.
We are champions of democracy. So anything that will bring about chaos, anything that will bring about unrest, if it is not democratically enshrined, we are not part of it.
The stakeholders also agree to take words back to their people to shun the protest.
We told you earlier in our lead story that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL, has been directed to, with immediate effect, commence the sale of crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in Naira. Well, this directive was approved by the Federal Executive Council meeting. A State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
Despite being a significant player in the global oil industry, Nigeria has for years struggled at home. While citizens contend with insufficient products and queues constantly, the government confronts several issues such as corruption and mismanagement, infrastructure deficit, security challenges, amongst others. Recently, issues in the sector came to a face-off between a private refinery, Dangote Refinery, and government agencies, with accusations that private refineries were being starved of crude oil by the federal government.
What is in the public space?
At the Federal Executive Council meeting, a memo is considered to address some of these challenges in the sector.
That's effective immediately, that NNPC get engaged with local refineries, and we are starting that with Dangote Refinery, that the sales of crude oil to Dangote Refinery will be denominated in Naira, and also the sales of refined product from Dangote Refinery to marketer and distributors also should be conducted in Naira.
Some of the benefits of the initiative include reduced trade finance cost with annual savings of $79 million, stabilized petroleum product prices, reduced transportation costs, food price inflation, and positively impacting interest rates.
Today, you may be aware that we spend roughly 30 to 40% of our foreign exchange today on importation of PMS that we consume. And in monetary terms, monthly, we spend roughly $660 million in this exercise. And if you annualize that, that one will give us $7.92 billion pressure that we have. With this approval today through FEC, led by Mr. President, this has reduced by minimum of 90%.
Council also set up a settlement bank as a go-between.
As as a pilot, the council has approved that a settlement bank, which in this instance is Afri-Exim, should be the lead arranger. That will be the settlement bank, at least today, between NNPC and Dangote Refinery.
This strategy is expected to eliminate government control and drive independence of the market. It also aims to eliminate government intervention in the management of domestic petroleum prices, allowing for greater market predictability and stability. From the Presidential Villa, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
And in part two, after the break, the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, announces the creation of silver notices and corresponding division to trace and recover assets with a pilot launch scheduled for January 2025. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. A reminder of our main stories. Federal government directs Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to sell crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in Naira. The president signs the minimum wage bill into law, ending months of deliberations between government, labor, and the private sector. And the Inspector General of Police invites lawyer Ebun Adegorua to the Take It Back movement over the impending August protest. And talking about the planned nationwide protest, we have more for you and, of course, reactions trailing that protest. The Inspector General of Police, the IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has invited human rights lawyer Ebun Adegorua to a meeting in the nation's capital, Abuja. The IGP's invitation follows Mr. Adegorua's letter to the police boss to provide police protection for protesters. The IGP, in his response letter dated July the 29th, 2024, directed senior police officers to attend to the request of the senior lawyer. Mr. Egbetokun's response was signed by his principal staff officer, CP Johnson Adinola. The protest against economic hardship, which is gaining traction on social media, has been scheduled to hold across all states of the Federation, as well as the nation's capital in August. Prices of food and basic commodities have gone through the roof in the last months. Nigerians are battling one of the country's worst inflation rates, an economic crisis sparked by the government's twin policies of petrol subsidy removal and the unification of the forex windows. Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says Nigerian youths should shun the planned nationwide protest to avoid anarchy. He stated this during a town hall meeting with the youth groups, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and other stakeholders in the Buhari Area Council. Mr. Wike says the Tinubu-led administration is doing all it can to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians. This is the fourth town hall meeting with critical stakeholders in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and it's the turn of Buhari Area Council. The FCT administration is holding these meetings to avert the planned nationwide protest in the nation's capital. The chairman of Buhari Area opens the session with a counsel against the protest.
The youth, you will be addressed. Is it better for us to dialogue or we'll go for protest? Dialogue or protest? Why do you dialogue or protest? Dialogue.
Representatives of different groups speak on the state of the nation.
What is disturbing us, we must also say it out. With a view that the minister will hear it and we know him, he will take absolute and a very serious urgent action.
The FCT minister tasks young Nigerians on the nationwide protest.
I don't want anybody to go out on the road. Will you go out on the road? Are you joining them for the protest? Are you joining them So you want us to talk? You want us to talk? We must talk.
The minister also speaks on some of the approved infrastructure by President Bola Tinubu.
All those roads will be commissioned all this December.
The delegation then moved to inspect the state of some projects in the area. The minister hopes to ensure the completion of projects by December 2024.
That will directly benefit. I continue to urge them to be calm, to be patient. This government is fully prepared to turn things around.
The FCT administration is promising to ensure that efforts are in place to address the plight of the people.
Away from the nationwide protest to security matters now, gunmen have killed 4 policemen and a POS operator in a Rete community along Onitsha Road in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Reports say the gunmen attacked the policemen who were on stop-and-search duty in the area. The Imo State Police Public Relations Officer Henry Okoye confirmed this incident to Channels Television. According to him, the police have launched a manhunt for the gunmen with a view to bringing them to book. The International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, has announced the creation of silver notices and corresponding diffusion to help trace and recover assets, with a pilot launch scheduled for January 2025. Speaking at the first Interpol and Japan International Cooperation Agency workshop in Abuja, the director of Interpol's Financial Crime and Anti-Corruption Center, Mr. Isaac Ogini, explains that the silver notice will serve as a red notice to trace and recover money laundered, rather than just targeting money launderers. Our correspondent Emanuela Ekele reports.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is hosting a workshop for Interpol and Japan International Cooperation Agency aimed at strengthening capacity and coordination against financial crime. The workshop is a capacity-building project that aims to strengthen Nigerian safety and security through increased national cross-agency collaboration and cooperation. It is also aimed at training 17 security agencies on financial intelligence and financial crime. While highlighting the significance of the workshop, the Interpol Vice President for Africa, Mr. Garba Baba, speak on the access of the agency to 19 databases for tracing and tackling law defaulters covering 196 countries.
We have been working.
He, alongside the Interpol Financial Crime and Anti-Corruption Center Director, speak on the benefits of the silver notice, which will trace hidden stolen money by corrupt leaders and criminals.
The silver notice will trace wherever the funds, the money that was stolen by corrupt leaders, criminals, they can never hide the money.
As nature will have it, we will be starting the pilot in January next year.
The workshop brings Japan and Nigeria together to collaborate in the fight against financial crime.
Our commitment by strengthening the capacity of law enforcement and financial intelligence agencies to combat financial crime.
This project is not only targeted at enhancing the capabilities and sharpening the skills of Nigerian law enforcement agencies in combating corruption and financial crimes, but designed to also foster a culture of cooperation through the establishment of a robust multi-agency network of investigators.
Most of the participants here are expected to learn that financial intelligence can only be maximized when investigators recognize its value and use it to build a financial profile around suspects. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency suspended its proposed 800% increase in navigational service charges and fees paid by airlines. Please stay with us.
You want to send your body money, but you don't get time for internet story. You don't need to work out with plenty money. Careful, make you dial the number 894. Make you know they wait. 894. No need to stand for line. 894. It is safe and secure.
Welcome back. We have more for you on the news at 10. And let's head over now to Abuja Studios where Malpwe Ogun Yusuf is standing by to give us more. Hello, Malpwe.
Hello, Anne. It's good to see you. Well, we're switching gears to politics now. Ahead of the forthcoming Edo and Ondo state governorship elections, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is asking political parties and their candidates to play by the rules as he expresses serious concerns over detentions and violence that have trailed some of the campaigns in Edo State. The INEC chairman made the appeal at the quarterly meeting with political party leaders in Abuja. Professor Mahmood also noted some political parties are yet to submit the list of their polling and collation agents, despite the fact that the portal for registration will close tomorrow, July the 30th.
The campaign period has often been characterized by acrimony and tension. Sadly, it is also a period of verbal abuse and physical confrontation among parties, candidates, and their supporters. The Commission finds the recent event in Edo State, resulting in the death of a security personnel, worrisome. The Commission will meet with the security agencies under the aegis of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, and the meeting has been scheduled for Friday this week. I want to assure you that security in Edo and Ondo will be a major issue for discussion at the meeting. 3 parties are yet to upload a single polling agent, while 5 parties have not uploaded a single agent for ward, local government, or state collation centers. The deadline is tomorrow, Tuesday, 30th July 2024, when the portal automatically shuts down at midnight.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Edo State, continued its campaign tour of the 192 wards ahead of the September 21 governorship election in Orionwo local government area. The PDP team, led by the Director General of the campaign organization, moved through various communities with the governorship candidate, Mr. Asoe Ighodalo, reading out his campaign manifesto at different rally grounds. Mr. Ighodalo promised to boost ethanol and rubber production in the area.
God Almighty say time don't reach, make all this suffering go. Mama no fit chop, Papa no fit walk, pikin no fit play, we no fit go school, we no fit go. God don't say he don't do. He don't do. He don't do. Some new company they come here. Government don't bring some new company here. When those companies come, they go bring ethanol come. That ethanol will be the number 1 ethanol for Nigeria. We go take that ethanol hammer. We go take rubber hammer. The thing where we go do, we go hold them for neck. When they come here with ethanol and rubber, they go join government to do our road. They go join government to do our light well. You know, all this suffering go finish. And we go tell them, say, we hold you for neck. You won't come here. You will employ our people, no. Our men go get good job. The one we go wear tie, go wear tie. The one we go wear anything, they go get good job. But they go join government. By God's grace, we go hammer. When you begin make money from ethanol and cassava, remember me, oh.
And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back now to you, Anne.
Thank you, Malpwe. Some company news now. One of the top financial giants, Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, has asked women to stand out in their various fields, irrespective of the position they occupy. The Executive Director, Business Development, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, Nike Bajamo, made this comment at the 2024 Stanbic IBTC Bloom Weekend, which was held at the Landmark Event Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. She says the aim of the program is to empower and inspire women to become financially independent.
At the end of your 5th birth, come back Stanbic IBTC Holdings 2024 Bloom Weekend kicks off with a yoga session to allow the women stretch out, relax, and unwind.
Come back down, 2 more. Inhale, lift.
Done with this session, the annual Bloom Weekend gets underway with the theme, With Her, For Her.
For Her describes ways we will help build other women. We must remain with her, for her, support each other.
The conversation becomes more engaging with the Ladies at the Table Empowerment Series, where women in different professions engage fellow ladies of various age groups on how to blossom in their own space.
You must be armed and dangerous with knowledge, ethics, professionalism. More than anything else.
You should be known for doing good work. You should be honest. You should be ethical.
Always allow yourself to introduce knowledge into your life and also seek for feedback.
Go for regular checkups.
All right.
Starting from your blood pressure, blood sugar, your breast, your cervix, and just be healthy inside and out.
It's also an opportunity for the company to speak about Stanbic IBTC pension managers, letting the women know why it's important to plan for retirement.
The time to start planning for your retirement is when you got your first job. If you haven't started, the next best time is now. There are calculators, pension calculators on the internet. Stanbic IBTC has one.
Stanbic IBTC Pension Manager says it cares about helping women become financially secured, which is part of the core values of the Bloom Weekend initiative.
The outcome is to see the women in this Bloom community grow. It's for us to see its impact in their business. As they continue to grow in their business, it shows that we are the right partner. We are the ones supporting their business, and we are growing and continuing this journey with them.
The Blue Blossom community was set up or was inaugurated to ensure that we support women in Nigeria to thrive. Stanbic IBTC, we have a retirement piece part of the business where we help people to invest the contributions that are being made towards their retirement.
Other major highlights of the event is the Blue Blossom Trade Fair, showcasing all kinds of products. Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC encourages women to reinvent themselves, stay focused, and bloom wherever they find themselves.
Zenith Bank PLC has held a formal signing ceremony as part of the arrangements to raise a total of 290 billion naira in rights issues and public offer. The bank's management says it will continue to deliver on its promises to its shareholders and other stakeholders as it seeks an expansion through their capital.
Zenith Bank executives, financial advisors, and agent houses, stockbrokers, registrars, auditors, and other key stakeholders are here for this all-important signing ceremony. The bank and its partners are signing the 290 billion naira rights issue and public offer to raise capital as required by regulation. This capital raise is slightly above the 230 billion required for the bank to meet the CBN recapitalization requirement.
This is the only bank that we've seen that have opted to do a combined offer, that is of both rights and public offering. And we see this as, confirming the role, the position of Zenith as, a pace setter and a role model. And without a doubt, we believe that this will definitely spur further and more transaction in the capital market.
The bank's group managing director and CEO, Dr. Adara Umeoji, combined offer.
We are incorporating a public offer because we know it's important to ensure that our customers who are not shareholders already can have opportunity to join in the ownership of this premium brand. We are confident that with the support of all stakeholders, the combined offer will be a huge success. Let me take your mind back to our sterling record of capital market achievements. As you are aware, we were in the market 2007 when we undertook a rights offer and public offer, and it was oversubscribed by 500%.
The bank is seeking to expand its frontiers beyond existing countries in Africa and the rest of the world.
When we finish raising the capital, we are looking at becoming global, how we can expand our footprints and franchise to the world. And we are looking at starting with African countries where we do not have presence. And we are looking at going beyond that to be able to become a global brand. But for us, we are starting with Francophone countries in Africa so that we can expand our franchise and footprint towards that direction.
Zenith Bank PLC is confident that these investments will further solidify its position as a leading commercial bank in Nigeria and unlock even greater value for its shareholders.
We have more for you in the world of business. Joke Rogers is standing by.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, and welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency has suspended the 800% increase in navigational service charges and fees paid by airlines, which it announced last week. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Public Affairs and Consumer Protection Director of NAMA, Mr. Abdullahi Musa. The suspension of the hike in navigation charge follows a directive from the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, who emphasized the need for further consultation before implementing any changes, highlighting the importance of being sensitive to the plight of Nigerians amidst these economic challenges. Before now, the Airspace Agency planned to raise en route navigational charges from 2,000 and 6,000 naira to 18,000 and 54,000 naira per flight, just as it increased the extension of hours of service to airlines from 50,000 to 450,000 naira to enable it to recover the cost of diesel and other logistics during the period of extension. And now to the domestic stock market, which kicks off the week on a positive note as it tries to recover from the significant losses recorded in 4 trading sessions last week. Ini John Mekwa has more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, whether it's the tension on the planned protest or the proposal of a 70% windfall on banks, we see that the figures are leading the way to the drop in the market today. Beginning with FBN Holding, we see it drop 2.62%. Zenith Bank does even worse, 3.63%, and GTCO and Access are unchanged. And of course, this shows in the counter. We see banking down more than 1% at the close of trade. There you have it. Of course, FBN Holding, UBA, Zenith Bank, they did that. Consumer goods also down. NASCON and Nigerian Brewers did that. Oil and gas actually surprisingly gained. Thanks to Kano, Eternal Oil, and O&O gained 1.32%. But at the close of trade, we see that the market lost 111 billion naira. That was shaved off the market cap. So we're at 55.7 trillion naira. Looking at the all share down 0.07%. So a lot of uncertainty in the air. But guess who wins? It's the bear.
That's Business News tonight, and back to you.
Thank you, Joke. An outsider shows 2 children have died and at least 8 people have suffered stab injuries at a children's dance and yoga workshop in Southport, England. Eyewitnesses say multiple children were affected. Police also say 17-year-old male from the nearby village of Banks has been arrested in connection with the stabbing. Here's Simon Puser with other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. President Nicolas Maduro claims to have won Venezuela's presidential election. That's according to partial results announced by the Electoral Council.
Al 80%.
The head of the National Electoral Council, who is a close ally of Mr. Maduro, said that with 80% of ballots counted, Mr. Maduro had 51% of the vote, compared to 44% for his main rival. The Venezuelan opposition, however, dismissed the CNE's announcement as fraudulent and promised to challenge the result. It said its candidate, Edmundo Gonzalez, had won with 70% of the votes and insisted he was the rightful president-elect. Opposition parties had united behind Mr. Gonzalez in an attempt to unseat President Maduro after 11 years in power. Opinion polls conducted ahead of the election had suggested Mr. Gonzalez would roundly defeat the current president. State media is reporting record-breaking rain has left thousands of people stranded by floods in North Korea over the weekend, prompting leader Kim Jong-un to declare an emergency. Photographs show submerged farmland and homes after heavy rain hit Sinuiju City and Uji County, which border China, according to the Rondong Sinmun. State media said many were later rescued by airlift. Such natural disasters are likely to compound existing issues like food scarcity and poor infrastructure in North Korea. A far-left activist in France has been arrested in connection with a series of attacks on the country's high-speed train network, which caused travel chaos ahead of the Paris Olympics opening ceremony. France's Interior Minister confirmed media reports of an arrest being made on Sunday in Seine-Maritime in Normandy. It comes as French reports said telecom installations had been vandalized, affecting mainly fixed-line services. The reports said cables in electrical cabinets had been cut in southern France and that installations in the Meaux region near Luxembourg and the Oise area near Paris had been targeted. Families of landslide victims in the Ethiopian region of Gofa are continuing to mourn as search operations continue for people buried under the mud. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said the death toll is expected to rise to at least 500 people. At least 257 people died last week when heavy rains triggered a landslide, burying people in the Gofa zone of southern Ethiopia, and a second one engulfing those engaged in rescue efforts. Local media is reporting that South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has been expelled from the African National Congress, the party he once led after campaigning for a rival party in the May general election. The ANC's disciplinary committee found him guilty of prejudicing the integrity of the party and has given him 3 weeks to appeal against the ruling. Fishermen in Bulacan, a province north of the Philippines' capital, say they are worried they will lose their livelihoods after an oil spill from a capsized vessel washed up close to their shores. MT Terra Nova, a marine tanker carrying 1.5 million litres of industrial fuel, sank on Thursday in rough seas off the coast of Limay in the province of Bataan, leaving 1 crew member dead. Officials were investigating whether the sinking is related to Typhoon Gamy, which on Wednesday flooded swathes of the capital Manila and surrounding towns. And thousands of tourists have braved extreme heats to cheer on divers plunging from the old bridge in Bosnia's city of Mostar to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the reconstruction of the landmark destroyed in war. The 16th century bridge, a marvel of Ottoman-era architecture, where people have met for centuries, was destroyed by Bosnian Croat artillery in 1993 in the Bosnian War. In 2004, it was rebuilt in an effort led by the World Bank and UNESCO as the symbol of reconciliation and unification of the ethnically divided town. 38 athletes from Bosnia and abroad took part in the contest, diving 80 feet from the bridge's high arch into the cold waters of the Neretva River below. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. The federal government today directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL, to sell crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in Naira. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Have a wonderful night rest.